right, in this episode of In a Matter of Minutes, let's talk about a couple of the immutable laws that affect us all, not just in business, but indeed in personal relationships and conversations, everyday life. Number one is the law of resonance. Number two is the law of familiarity. Let me start with the law of resonance. And the law of resonance states this, that the true value of a conversation really is never known until both parties have left the conversation and have a chance to reflect back on it. And so when you think of a reframing appointment with a best client, or more importantly, a first appointment with a new prospect, when people leave your office and are talking to each other about what has happened in the meeting, what is it that resonates? What are they talking about? What do they remember? They're talking about your skills as an advisor, your technical skills, your certifications, some of the language that they heard, the jargon. They're talking about how impressive the office and the team were. All of those things matter, don't get me wrong. But when we talk about what resonates and what lasts and what I feel compelled to communicate after an appointment, those things will fade into the background, into what we call the sea of sameness in our industry. But if you're talking about your process and your approach is different, and that you take all the pieces of a client's financial puzzle and put and keep those things in place, and you do it not by just focusing on wealth management, but indeed what we call 7 pillars. And those of you that have worked with us and we've created this piece, the Shoot Your Trailer piece, it was done for a reason. The law of resonance was very much top of mind. Imagine that your clients would leave the office, your prospects would leave the office, and are talking about what matters to them and what you as an advisor can control. That was a compelling conversation. The piece was set up so that even days after, if a client were to pick up this piece and say, you know what did our advisor go through? Can I remember exactly what she said? It's pretty easy to understand a very simple philosophy around all the things that you can provide as an advisor, and indeed what matters most to your clients and what you can control, and that those things are foundational and they never change. That resonates. It's compelling. And remember, too, that you're at a high moment of referability at the beginning of a new relationship. So if you make this kind of an impact on a new prospect, chances are they're going to communicate that difference to people that are important to them. The law of resonance. The other one is the law of familiarity, and we've touched on this a couple of times in different ways throughout the year. And the law of familiarity states that the longer a relationship is in place, the more its value can be trivialized or taken for granted. And listen, you can think of that in personal relationships, maybe with a partner, a spouse, your kids. And it's not that you trivialize the relationship, but we get to know each other. And there's certain parts of it that just become familiar, and they are taken a little bit for granted. If that can happen in a personal relationship, imagine what happens in a professional relationship. And here's what we know. Earlier, I've shared different articles, one that Riskalyze did in 2013, one that Financial Advisor IQ did in July of 2020, saying, look, people are leaving their advisors because of the lack of communication. Indeed, no communication, no reach out from my advisor. And as we dug deeper into that, we found out what's going on. Why aren't we reaching out? It has to do, one, with the law of familiarity, and that is that we get to know our clients. We've been 8 or 10 or 12 years or whatever it is in relationship. We know about them. We think we know about the kids and everything that's going on at work. They know us. They've been in for review, strategy, and tactical meetings at least once a year, and maybe have attended an appreciation event or some other get-together. We know each other. But as day-to-day life changes, the law of familiarity gets in the way of keeping up with those important changes. And so what we found out was a lot of advisors are letting the law of familiarity come into play simply because they run out of things to say. There's only one review meeting a year. There's only one birthday a year. There are a couple of other reasons to get in touch, but we found that it gets difficult. So a focus on form, family, occupation, recreation, and indeed money, the foundation of what you're doing, what this relationship is all about, gives our advisors a reason to have a meaningful conversation quarterly. And we found that clients actually come to expect it. And while sometimes they'll answer the phone or get on a virtual meeting and say, hey, I'm all caught up, it's good to hear from you, there's nothing new, but thanks for touching base. Many times they're prepared for the conversation by saying, here's what's happened. We bought the business. The new grandchild was born. All of these updates. And these become meaningful things that eliminate the law of familiarity and what that can do in a negative impact to a relationship. So, if you've not engaged with us, get in touch with your business consultant. Contact us directly at the Protocol Division at USA. And let's start to put these immutable laws in place, making an impact on your clients and compelling them to duplicate themselves. Till we talk again, stay grateful and make the minutes matter.